This is Mike Leahy. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to talk about our Pulse dashboard software, kind of a review of components of it that are popular, and then talk about things we've added the past year. I also have help today from Bart Fannin, our president, and he is going to monitor the questions that are coming in. And then periodically, if there are questions that he feels that the group needs to hear the answer, then he will, we'll give him a few minutes and go over that. Okay, but just as an overview, this is my picture on the shop floor. We've been in business forever. We have worked with Macola forever. 95% of our customers are manufacturers, and we're located in Cincinnati, Ohio. And what we do is we make software that makes your Macola software much easier to use. And over the years, we've become the leading developer of add-on software, again, that makes Macola easier to use. This is just an example of some of the products that we have. The dashboard product is our premier Pulse archive. Nobody likes to purge data, so we have a utility that allows you to archive it. Macola will now run faster, but the data will still be available. We have an EDI integrator software. We have what used to be called cash receipts or lockbox. It's now customer payments importing. Have a whole series of utilities, a series of portals, and then System Pro, which is our it's a labor item that John Clark maximizes, optimizes your SQL Server running on your machine with your Macola database. Okay, so dashboard. Let's talk about dashboard. What customers came to us and started asking, they wanted pre-developed reports. For those of you who I've worked with, I'm kind of a Crystal expert, or used to be, and we used to develop Crystal reports constantly. People would lose them. They would, you get it finished. Oh, I want to add this. I want to subtract this. I want to move these columns around. And so what the people were asking for in a new product like Dashboard, where everything is pre-developed, it's field tested, and it's not a do-it-yourself product. In other words, people have gone before you, people have tested this before you, and everything is ready to go. One of the other features people wanted was the ability to export everything to Excel, no exceptions. And they wanted the ability to change some of the reports without having to call us or having to call IT for assistance. So for example, changing the sorting sequence, adding a new column, removing a column, moving a column around, everything you can do that. The Macola inventory database is very, very good, but it lacks some metrics that are needed for analysis, and we added those to your Macola inventory files, and we'll show you that. And the emphasis of our software is on analysis, not on just regurgitation or file listings. So you'll see as we go through a lot of analysis. So with people wanting all that, this is what Dashboard gives you: real-time information at your fingertips. The end users can modify the reports. Everything is field tested. It's analysis oriented. Everything exports to Excel and so on. And the result is that you just have more time to make faster and better decisions. So these are some things that people have said about our software. The top one is the one I like the best. This is the best analytical tool I've used in my professional career. I mentioned before that we have modules for each department. This is a list, and you'll get more familiar if you're not already with the department. Okay, so I'm going to come out of this, and we're going to dive into the software. Now, the dashboard software has been around for over 10 years. You in the audience, some of you have come on, haven't seen its software at all. This is your first time. Others, maybe you're new to the organization, or you're new to your role in the company. Others have used the software for years. We're constantly adding new reports, and when you add a new report, your dashboard administrator needs to add that to your profile. Well, in some cases that doesn't get done. So somebody will say, well, I never saw that report. And I'll say, well, yeah, we added that 10 years ago. So today's a day to maybe get refreshed on what some key reports are that might be helpful. Okay, so for those of you who are relatively new, I mentioned that we have um, different modules. This is the custom. Well, I'll start at the beginning: executive, financial control, customer service, sales and marketing, inventory, purchasing, production. We've developed our own MRP software. You don't need to be using Macola's. And then this is our newest module, inventory optimization. We're going to come back. We're going to come back to that. So what I thought would be good to start off today would be to go over kind of an overview of popular reports, um, ones that we feel are favorites, um, or reports that you need to know about if you're a newcomer. Everything starts with customer orders. So what we're doing is we're in the executive module. We're looking at this summary. And the report down here that's helpful is this is aging your customer orders. Like these orders are past due, orders through the end of this week, through the end of the month, next 30, 60 days. And it's giving you, you might have $95,000 worth of orders, but it's telling you of that 95, how much is available to ship, how much is the back order shortages, and so on. So this is very, very popular. This is a screen that's very, very popular. Another screen that's popular is this aging report, um, which doesn't look like anything you've seen before because we added collection notes. So some years ago, we had a focus group, and customers said they wanted to be able to look at to see the average days to pay. They wanted a phone number, they wanted a person to call, and they wanted to be able to add collection notes at the customer level. This is at the customer level, or be able to drill down and see the underlying details and add collection notes at the detail level. So this has become very popular. Um, I remember somebody coming up with the idea. It was one of those things like, well, we were supposed to think of that, but we didn't. Um, because we have the ability to print everything or email everything, the idea would be that if I'm the collections person and I'm on the phone with somebody, I can email this to them right here. I can create a PDF or an Excel file and email this to them while I'm on the phone. So this is very, very popular. And we've added collection notes to your Macola database. That's always a question that comes up. Okay. In the sales and marketing area, everybody has sales reports. But what's unique, what we've done here is we have now allowed you to import from Excel or create from history your sales forecast or your sales budget. And now that you have the budget, and the budget is by month, it's by item, it's by sales, by dollars, by sales units, by target selling price, by margin. So you have a lot of flexibility. So now that you have that in the database, you now can look at actual sales versus budget by product category, by customer. It doesn't matter any way that you want to look at it. But the point being that for the first time, you have a budget or a forecast, and we've also extended that forecast into MRP. We'll come back to that later. Something else that's very, very popular, you wouldn't think about this, but Macola in the purchasing area is a very forward-looking product. It doesn't look backwards and say, you forgot to clean this up, you forgot to close this, why hasn't this order come in? So this is our purchase orders scheduled to be received, and it's telling you how much you received versus how much you ordered, how much has been invoiced. And this has become very popular in terms of better managing your outstanding purchase orders. I'll go back to customer service for a minute. Um, in customer service, we have two kinds of shortages. We have shortages at the customer, the finished good level, and then we have shortages at the production level. So let's make believe that it's Monday morning and I'm the customer service manager and I want to look out the next 5 days and I want to see the finished goods that are not ready to ship that are preventing me from shipping on time to a customer. So I can drill down on each one of these. Obviously, red is not good, green is okay. So this is time phasing your on-hand quantities for this particular item. So drill down on everything. So this is shortages at the customer level for the customer service people. In production, we have something similar. Again, it's Monday morning. Can I make it through the week? Can I make it through the week and make everything that's due this week? So what this has done is exploded the bill of material and is showing you what components are preventing you from shipping or from completing manufacturing orders over the next 5 days. And again, everything has drilled out. So these are very, very popular, these shortage reports. A lot of people don't know that this report exists in the customer service area. And the whole idea here is if I can't ship it on time, what do? Do I lean on production? Do I call the customer and say, I'm sorry? But at least you can better prepare, better manage that process. When we first developed this, item detail report, and this was intended to this was intended to replace Macola's multiple level item view, which is an excellent report, but it was designed 28 years ago, something like that. It never has changed. And the idea of our item detail is we wanted you to have the ability to have some quick metrics. The white is real time. We're starting to see all of these cream colored fields are fields that we've added to Macola. Months of inventory on hand, date of last sale, date of last purchase, year-to-date usage. Macola year-to-date usage is very, very good, but it doesn't help you in February. So we have 12-month usage. We have inventory turns, inventory by location, and then we have a historical summary. So we're now seeing for the first time the ability to manage and capture inventory by month, on-hand quantity by month, what we purchased by month, what we produced by month, what we used, and so on. And then each item has its own MRP regeneration. But what I really wanted to show you on this are these buttons that we've added. This is something brand new that's called custom reports. So for example, if I wanted to look at, for this E3089, I want to look at open purchase orders. Or I want to look at inventory allocations, or I want to look at transaction history. I can do, and I'm just pressing escape to get out of this. So this is something that is popular, and it should be even more popular now when we've added these. But we added these tabs like a year and a half ago, and I just want to make sure that everybody sees this. Okay, so let's talk about something for a minute. I'm going through this. It's a little bit rushed. And you're saying, oh my gosh, I need to use this. I didn't even know this existed. I maybe not even remember what it's called. So a couple things. We've recorded this session, but also you recall that you have unlimited phone support, unlimited training, and unlimited retraining on all of our products. So all you need to do is pick up the phone or go up here to help and go to about, and then here's the direct phone number, and then this is the direct email address. So the idea being that if you have questions after this, I think Mike talked about shortages. I can't remember what he talked about. Can you refresh my memory, or work through together? Okay. I talked before about inventory metrics. So let's look at an inventory status report. Here's normal kind of things you would expect everything to be in a status report. But as we move over to the right, these fields that are in the cream color, these are all fields that we have added to the software. So months of inventory on hand, 3, 6, and 12-month total usage, 3 and 6, and 12-month average usage. So this is your trending to be able to see, like this particular part here. Here, let me get rid of this filter. Get some data in here. So we can see how many months of inventory we have. So if somebody comes to you and says, oh my gosh, we run out of this part, we need to order it, expedite it. You can look in here and see, well, gosh, we just ordered this just a few months ago. What happened to it? So we have date of last usage, purchase, activity, manufacturer, date of last sale. And remember earlier I mentioned that we have month by month by month usage and month by month on hand quantities. So the idea being now that you have additional, and this is part of your Macola database now. It's not available in Macola, but it's part of a dashboard. Another topic that comes up is you've been working on crystal reports for years and years, and you don't want to throw them away. One of the features that we've developed in Dashboard is the ability to extract, copy the SQL code, the programming code that's in a crystal report, and run it within Dashboard. So for those of you who are technical and have developed reports like this, give us a call and we can show you how you can run them in Dashboard. Some time ago, we added this. This didn't get very good. We didn't promote this very well. But these tabs here, in other words, you know that in Dashboard, you can move the reports around. You can copy a report and paste it to another screen. So what we've done here is we've taken a bunch of reports that we felt was good and would be useful to top management as an overview, the top inventory management people in the organization. These are reports focused on them. And the person who is in operations, head of operations, this is the report, the tab that they would have. So these are just a collection. And so again, if you're looking for a copy of these, it's very easy for us. We just save it and share it to a file and email it to you. And another feature, in addition to being able to export everything to Excel, is that if you are working on a report that others feel they want a copy of that, you can just right click and say publish, and you can publish that to everyone, but you typically would just publish it to individual people within the organization. The last thing I want to mention is that a lot of people think that in order to use our MRP software, that they need to be using Macola's MRP software, and that's not the case. We have developed a multi-location, and we say real time because our regeneration only takes less than a minute or 2 minutes, where a typical Macola regeneration might take 3 or 4 hours. So we just want to let you know that by putting this location column in here, this turns it into a regular MRP to MRP by location. And you can turn on and off the locations that you want to include in MRP. Okay, so I've gone through what I feel was a refresher, an overview showing you popular reports. So let's now talk about some things that we've added. Um, and one of these is kind of a favorite of mine, and that is the ability to determine your lead time. In other words, you quote, a customer calls up and says, I want 100 of this, and you say, oh, yeah, it's going to be 3 weeks, or it's always going to be 2 weeks, or whatever it is, a month. Um, you don't really have a way to monitor what your real lead times are. But more importantly, if you know what your lead times are, so let's say for a particular product category, it typically takes 20 days between you receiving of the order, processing it, maybe you have some engineering work or work that has to be looked at. You have to manufacture it, package it, ship it, and invoice it. Well, if you could cut 3 or 4 days out of that process, that means you would open up your capacity to handle another 3 or 4 days worth of shipments. That's where this is heading towards. So if I look at this product category analysis, and this is the chart that we're talking about. This is lead time. It's just our shipping lead time graph, and it's multidimensional, so it's not just for a particular product category. It can be applied in a lot of ways. I'll show that in a minute. So what this is showing is by month, how many days does it take to process an order and get it out the door? So let's just use this as an example. In December, it was 25 days, but by March, something happened, and we over doubled that. We went from 25 to 50, and so the idea being, well, what caused that? Was it a particular customer? Was it a particular? So we're going to add drill down to this shortly, but the idea being that when I start that analysis, right now I'm just looking at all product categories. But let's say that I just want to look at my regular product category, and I want to see what the lead time graph looks like for that. I know that in my company, my imported products are hot right now. So let's take a look at the imported products. So in this example, here's the product category, our imported. This is our year-to-date sales, month-to-date sales, year-to-date sales. And then this is our margin up here. So we could show margin by month. We could show sales dollars by month. But the idea being, we now have a tool to start analyzing, okay, well, first knowing that for the imported products, they went from 43 to 136 days in 1, 2, 3, in 5 months. Something, that something caused that. So the part of the process is you get what you focus on. So if you knew that this was happening, then you could do something to avoid happening in the future. Okay, so this report, remember that within dashboard, I can copy this report to any other place. So when I first went in here, this was for the entire company. I'll come back here. This is for the entire company. And we looked at it by product category, but maybe you say, well, no, I want to look at this for my key customers. So I'm going to look at I'm going to look at the Cincinnati distributors. So this is an example by customer now, not by product category. Okay, so you may be saying, well, the reason this is happening is because we have it takes a while to get it shipped or get it prepared. So let's take a look at it now by territory. The same thing. I'll refresh that. For those of you who use Dashboard on a regular basis, you can refresh by right-clicking on a tab, or you can take any white space here, just double-click, and it will refresh. Okay, so here's for all territories. Let's take a look at our California territory or our Ohio territory. So I'm hoping that this will generate interest. Again, if you know what your lead times are, you can focus on shortening them. And it can be focused on shortening at individual customers, individual products. This can be applied to anything. I did have an example where I'm looking at individual products, but this screen can be copied right here. Copy this report to any place in the system, even by salesperson. So I can't see everybody's faces, but I'm hoping that this is something that that is appealing and you feel will be useful. We had applied a version of this some years ago on a custom level for one customer, and it was very successful. For this one customer, I can tell you what their success was. You get what you focus on. And they said, oh my gosh, I had no idea for this product category, it was taking so long for us to do our engineering review. Or I didn't know it took so long to get the product manufactured and shipped. But once they had that information, then they acted on it. And in some cases, they drove it down 5 days. Within 2 months, they drove some of these down 5 days. And again, they're opening up capacity to ship more orders in the same amount of time. Okay, so let's talk about the next level of what's new. And we had a variety of reports that custom reports that we had developed over the years. Maybe one was a multi-level bill of material. Or maybe the recount program or the ABC generator. So we had a variety of reports that people were using that were helpful, but they may have been released a year or so or several years after they started. And there was really no way to organize these. So we decided to bundle these all together. So we bundled all these together. Normally the reports for a module are like $2,000. This is $4,000. But the idea being that there's a lot of good here that I'm going to go over. The one thing that hasn't gotten much traction because we haven't promoted it is the ability to generate purchase orders from within Dashboard. And I'll tell you a couple ways that people have used this. I'm going to make believe that I'm Pete Bowers in the Cincinnati location. Okay, this can be used in two areas. One can be just simple generating purchase orders based on your criteria. So the idea of this is that this is using your reorder levels. Well, if your reorder levels aren't accurate, this isn't going to work. So we have another program called our recalc program, which is designed to set the reorder levels correctly based on your criteria. So I'll just kind of demonstrate this. Let's say we have two parts here that are going to order. I'm going to say create purchase order, and there's the purchase order. So the first thing you may ask is, well, is this an unreleased order, a released order, or a printed order? You can make it any way you want to. And then we also have another utility that's not part of Dashboard. It's part of Event Manager or Knowledge Sync. And it allows you to email invoices, email purchase orders, email acknowledgments. So this fits in with this. This is just generating the purchase order, just as if you pressed F5 up here in the upper left. You can change these if you can change the quantity, you can add comments and so on. So when you hit save, then that pushes that order out. This bearing supply goes away, and now we go down to the next one. So one of the things that I wanted to, I mentioned at the very beginning was I wanted Bart Fannin to let us know if there are questions that have come up or anything that we've missed so far. And then Bill Cox, if there's anything that we've missed, let me know or let us know. Bart?
Yeah, we've got one question so far, and if anybody has any questions, feel free to click on the questions area and just submit your question there. We'll make sure to ask it as long as we have time. The question is, if something like the MRP screen or the PO generator, if they wanted to secure who had access to that, what would they do?
Oh yes, in dashboard, in user control, that's where you determine everything in dashboard is based on need to know. So if Mary or Bill doesn't need to have access to this report, this multi-level bill of material, you can turn that off, or you can turn off the shortages. So everything is on a need to know basis. It also can be restricted to that they can't make any changes to the report. So for example, if you want to put this out on the loading dock to be able to use for incoming shipments, you can set it up so that it's just read only. So again, everything is on a need to know basis, and it's yes no by report.
Got one more question. Instead of running the product category program for lead times, can we change that to group tech codes?
Oh, the answer is yes. What it means is that I could take, let's say I take this and I'm going to clone this. Okay, so here's my clone. And all I'm going to do is change this up here to, I'm going to change what it's going by, and I'm going to go look here if I can get this to work. Group by. Yeah, group tech. Yeah, so now it's by, and I'm going to include all of them. Would include all of them. Okay. How come I can't see the save button? Well, this is weird. Well, we won't dwell on it anymore. But you're just gonna you can any field that's in the Macola database, you can get that to work. And why is this not? I don't know what I've done here to get this to, because I'm kind of stuck here with this. Bill Cox, do you have any thoughts on this? How come I can't get out of the this editor? It is because I did. Well, this is embarrassing.
Enabled your mic, Bill.
I don't see it.
You may have to Alt F4 to clear that out. Alt F4 on your
Oh,
keyboard.
thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you. Thank you.
Got it.
Okay.
Very nice.
Yes.
You shouldn't have done that. No.
Yeah. Okay, so so the answer is yes. Yeah, and you can see that up here in this customer analysis, these reports, customer analysis, product category, they're all identical. And all I did was like right click, I cloned it, I changed it to something else. And of course, the save button will be on your screen. So thanks, Bill. Any more questions, Art?
No, that's it for now.
Okay. Um, good questions. Something that we've done that might be helpful to everybody. Um, Earlier, we talked about looking at finished good shortages, making believe that you're the customer service manager and you want to determine what you're not going to be able to ship this week, or your production control and you're looking at the same way. But every company does things a little differently. And what we have found is that some companies like to look at the bill of material. They like to explode the bill of material for that customer order as it's coming in the door. So here are all our orders coming in the door, and I'm going to drill down and explode the bill of material and see, do I have the components needed to make this? Well, in this particular case, this is a kind of a simple bill of material. Um, all of the components are not available. Now, what not available can mean is I have the components on hand, but they are allocated to another order. In other words, they've been previously allocated. Okay, so this is customer orders. And you may say, well, we don't care about we wait until we're going to put the order on the floor, and that's when we're going to look to see if the order is doable. So here's the same thing, except this is looking at all of our production orders. And again, we are drilling down and seeing the bill of material, all the components, and whether they're available or not. So these particular ones are you can see they're over allocated. So again, we can look at this for exploding the bill of material for incoming customer orders or exploding the bill of material for incoming production orders. So for some companies, this has really been extremely helpful. And if you just want to look at individual bills of material, um, this is the single level bill of material, and this is the multi-level bill of material. So if I look at this, so this is showing me these sample data. These are not real deep, but you can see here they're showing us the levels. Let's sort this down correctly. This is level 1, it's level 0. So these are included in the inventory optimization. The purchase order generator that we looked at before, that's included in the inventory optimization. The inventory class generator, I'll tell everybody a secret in case you didn't know it already, but you're adding a new part. You just added 100 new parts to Macola, and you got done with it, and you didn't realize that when you add a new part, Macola sets the incorrect class level. It sets everything to an A class, where if this is a brand new item that you're just adding, probably should be a C class. So we have created a ABC class generator that allows you to use traditional 85 or 80, 15, and 5. It even allows you to create a class D by item. So now that and just as a tip here, that the ABC class generator concept is discrete. It's recalced for all manufactured items or recalced for all purchase items and not commingling them. Okay, so that's something that's included in here. The recalc program, this is something that is very, very helpful. And the idea is that I want to periodically recalculate my min, my max, my safety stock, and my PO lead time. So what that means in Macola terms, that means the reorder level, the order up to level, the safety stock, and the PO lead time. So, and this is all done through where we interview you and then we come up with a SQL script. Like these are sample SQL scripts um, for this test company. And again, we have other criteria, global criteria. Are we going to look at a 6-month sample, 12-month, or 24-month sample? We could even exclude certain items. So the whole idea being that when I calculate, I look at everything and then I can update, and I'm pushing that, just like the ABC class generator, I'm pushing the data back into Macola. So this has become more and more popular as when COVID came along, when the shortages going on overseas are going on, it's becoming more and more important to manage your supply chain.
Mike, a question came up whether this is part of Pulse MRP or not.
No, this is not. Like this could be for a distributor who just wants to calculate their and manage their mins and maxes. I mean, it's used by MRP, but it's not part of the MRP module. Is that how the question was stated, Bart?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Feel free to the person that asked it, feel free to ask a follow-up if need be.
So this is what we're trying to, we've added and trying to add more value to your software or your investment in dashboard. I'm looking at an average cost database, but we've also developed extensive reports for those on standard costing. This also is a production order processing, a POP database, but we've developed extensive sophisticated reports for those that are using shop floor control. To be able to look at, because in shop floor control, you have some people who are concerned with quantities and timing, and you have other people who are focusing on the dollar amount. What did it take us to make this item over and over and over again? So we've split the reports out, for those who are managing shop orders on a day-to-day basis, to those who look at it at a higher level on costing.
Mike, there was a follow-up to the last question. The question was in general, the inventory optimization module, is that part of the MRP module or is it a standalone purchase outside of MRP in order to obtain it?
Yes, it would have nothing to do. Yes, the MRP module here is a separate module, and inventory optimization is a separate module. It just happens to be that there are, in my demo here, there are tabs that I've added that are really now, they're not sold separately, but they're now part of inventory optimization. Like previously, the recalc was sold separately. I just stuck it in here with inventory, but it now is a standard part of inventory optimization. So if you had an interest in some of these, it would be easy enough to call any one of us or call Terry Lanham, our salesperson, and to get a quote on specific things or a question of what's included with what. So I was sort of promising 45 minutes today. I'm pretty much done with the items that I wanted to bring. Bill Cox, was there anything that I've overlooked that should be discuss. Bill's our product manager for Dashboard.
You have a few minutes, Mike, maybe you could mention the video help that we've just added in the newest version.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. One of the key, sorry about that. In every box now, thanks, Bill. This is embarrassing. I should have thought of that. That should have been at the beginning. On each of these blue bar now, you'll see an additional icon called Help Reporting. See here? And when you click on here, this takes you to our YouTube channel. And Bill and Mary Tripp have developed a whole number of, whole bunch of short videos. Here's on creating, clearing sorts, using field format for formatting fields, how to create a copy of the report, so on and so on. Yes, thanks, Bill. So each one of these now has that, so as time goes by, we're going to be adding more and more reports. Now, Bill, have we separated these? Are there some tabs that are more, that are sensitive to the module that you're in?
Yes, the help links appear in 3 different places. One, as you've shown, is on the report boxes. There's also a link in the help menu that's general help for dashboard. And so that points to a different playlist. And then the other place, we get a lot of questions on how to use the column chooser. So when you go into the column chooser, there is a new button on that screen that points to a playlist that is focused on column chooser topics.
Ah, okay. So let's
you'll probably have to go into another tab since
yeah,
these summary reports don't have column choosers, or you can drill down into one and then there will be a column chooser.
Yeah, so here's the column chooser here. And here's the help video here. Thanks very much, Bill. I got so focused on the details, I overlooked that.
One person's not seeing this. Do they need to update before being able to have access to the video?
Yes, absolutely. You need to be on, if you can see the bottom of my screen, you need to be on version 5.65. And Bill, is that 5.65.1 or 0.0 that they should be on?
.0 is the newest and best.
Okay. So if you're looking at the bottom down here, it shows you the version that you're on. And if you're not on 5.65, then you'll need to talk to your administrator about going up here and updating dashboard. You need to have access to this administrator tab. And another area that I have forgotten to mention is that Bill and others are put a lot of work into streamlining the updating process and making that a lot easier to use. And again, unlike other software, unlike Macola or other software, you can update your software in the middle of the day. You do not need to update in the middle of the night or on a weekend. You do not need to kick the users off. So like if you update your license for the company, that means that all the other users, when they exit dashboard and come back in again, then they will get the latest the latest version or the version you just updated. Anything else I've forgotten, Bill?
I think that's enough to absorb for now.
Okay. Okay, well, thanks everybody for joining today. Bart, are there any other questions that are out there that?
No, none that we've not gone over. If you do think of something outside of this, feel free to email support@pulsedashboard.com, and we can get back with you either through an email or set up a call.
Okay, thanks everybody. Appreciate your support of our software. And again, if you need help, go up to the help button, go to about. There's a phone number, there's an email address. Email address works faster. And have any questions on the pricing on any of these, feel free to give us a call. Okay, have a great rest of the week. Thank you.